The Honeydew with y'all. Thank you for your support. Here's Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew with y'all. We're over here doing it in the NIGHTPANTS studios. I can't thank you enough for all of your support. This community, again, every month it grows and grows, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love this fucking show. I love my life. I mean, it's hard to pick between your kids is which one is your favorite. And I'm telling you, I'm kind of leaning toward this one. You know what I'm saying? The Honeydew with y'all has been fascinating. If you're new here, welcome and thank you. It's $5 a month. You get the Honeydew a day early ad free at no additional cost. And if you sign up for a year, you'll get over a month free. All right. If you or someone you know has that story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. You do not need to be a subscriber, and it doesn't need to be you. It could be like your grandfather, your dad, whatever. I'm down to talk if they've got a great story. And as no exception here, every week we have another one. This topic we're going to talk about today, first time ever on this show. I'm very interested and excited to talk to this gentleman here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Damon Sanders. Welcome to the Honeydew with y'all, Damon Sanders.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Damon. Before we get into this, please tell us where you are right now.
I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right, coming to us from Indianapolis. How old are you, Damon?
I'm 22 years old.
Yet another young man. You'll be what?
23 next year.
Well, I mean, I know how to do math.
Yeah.
Damon, what do you do for a living?
I'm a salesman for ADT Security.
Awesome. All right. I had a cousin who did ADT in Baltimore. All right. So you sent a very interesting email, and we're just going to get right into it because you have written here, I'm looking at what you wrote. You were born with an uncontrollable rage disorder that essentially made it to where you couldn't use the left side of your brain. Is that accurate?
Yes, essentially being the key word there. It's not as if I were debilitated or unable to use the left side of my brain function. But what I mean by that is the disorder that I had called IED, intermittent explosive disorder. Frontal lobe, there's a malfunctioning in it to where I couldn't hear my super ego. So you have three things. You have your ego on top, your id, which is your inner devil on your shoulder, and then your super ego, supposed to be the voice of reason. So I would hit a threshold breaking point where I could literally had no more control of what I could say, do, or think. So when I hit that threshold, I could only hear what my fight or flight instinct, id, wanted me to do. And that's involved destroying rooms, interpersonal relationships, almost losing jobs, having to up and leave randomly from social gatherings just because I know I was going to cause a scene or really threaten somebody or maybe even physically harm them, which I have not achieved yet, thankfully.
All right. Well, you're 22, so you're young, man, as far as even still learning probably about this for yourself. So let's go back to the beginning. You're born with this, you said. So this is hereditary, possibly, yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
So at what age do you, or I guess your parents see it first, or you, like, when do you start realizing something's different?
Well, as far as parents go, I was raised by a single mother.
Okay.
In her own right. She had me at 16 years old.
Whoa.
So kid raising a kid, pretty much.
Absolutely.
So she didn't have time or money to sit there and have the foresight or even know. But for me, I didn't even realize it was a really bad thing until I was about 16. But I do remember in recollection, 11 years old was the first time I felt like the after effects. I had a stepfather, and it was just a last straw situation. I just remember calling him 11 years old and just heinously like, I hate you so fucking much. Like 11 years old, just pouring out all this rage. And by the end of it, I remember couldn't feel my hands. And that was the first one.
Okay. So, but was that, I mean, I don't know how to phrase this question. I don't want to say justified, but was he abusive to you? Was he mean to you? Was he anything? Or did you have this outburst to this person who was good to you, and that's what made it like, hey, that's a little odd?
He was neglectful in the sense of he worked night shift and just slept all the time whenever I was there, me and my younger sister. So I never got to see him. He really wasn't a hand in my life, even though I think he earnestly wanted to be. But this was fresh after he and my mother divorced, and he was fooling around with some 19-year-old. And we pulled up on it, and she was still there, and had to leave, and just broke my heart for, I don't know why, but I feel it was justified for an 11-year-old boy, but an 11-year-old boy should not contain that much rage.
Okay. So you don't feel your fingers after this, and then what? Do you tell your mom about this, or just?
She was actually with me when I had called him and screamed at him, but neither of us checked it off as something weird. It was the first time it's happened to me, and she just dismissed it. But like, I didn't have a ton of like explosion on people issues from there until about 16. But I just remember day to day the amount of issue I would have with being in society, around people, at school. I just felt like there was always a huge weight on my chest, like anxiety. So I'd walk around with a scowl on purpose so that I didn't have to talk to people, because it was really, really hard to do. But that was just the anxiety part of it. That was actually post-concussion. But
you had a concussion?
Yes. When I was young, I cracked my head open twice.
Damn.
And yeah.
How?
Yeah. The first time I was running around like I was a dinosaur with a really hard head. That was 4. And I ran head first, top of my head, into the corner of a granite countertop.
Ooh, shit.
Split it down the middle. And then the second time I was only 2 years older and running full speed down a white hallway and just shifted just a little bit. And I just head right to the wall. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But
so 11's your first outburst. When's the next actual? I know you say the anxiety's building, and I'm guessing it's about to break at some point. When's the next outburst that you felt that just rage?
Yeah, I'd say 16 is when it started really coming online. But the full brunt hit me at 18, 19.
Well, take me back to 16. What happened at 16?
I didn't have any form of an outlet at all. No offense to my mother at all. I love her dearly, but she's not an emotional person. She always dismissed my emotions. So I kind of always had to keep what I was feeling down anyway. So just by that time, with all of that added stress and no outlet and a disorder creeping in on me, yeah, I'd get explosive tendencies, mostly towards her. But I couldn't show that towards her. So it's behind closed doors, but I'm 16 destroying my room, screaming at the top of my lungs.
Kicking holes in the wall, punching shit, that sort of stuff? Or are you taking a bat and just wrecking the fucking place? Like, how bad are we talking here?
I'm talking like ripping my room apart. I was reserved.
You setting the bed on fire?
Not that. Not that. I don't know. Maybe I should have. SOS with the. But
I'll smoke you out, bitch. I will smoke you out.
But no, I didn't set things on fire. I wasn't a pyromaniac. I was actually rather reserved with my hands, but I would just, it mostly turned into verbal.
Okay.
Like
a lot of
all of that
and...
would pour out.
And are you attacking her verbally, calling her names, or are you just yelling out, fuck shit, I fucking hate this, or where is it going?
The latter. I was never brave enough at that age to take that to my mother.
Would your mom step to you? Would your mom beat your ass?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking you're 22. She's only 38. She's still young. She can still scrap right now. Yeah.
Well, I actually got lucky because she had thin veins, so she tried to spank me or smack me or something.
Would damage her
veins. Her hand would break. Well, unlucky. Wooden spoons always work too. But
okay, so you're yelling, you're angry, and then what? 18, it hits. You say, what happens at 18?
Oh, by the time I was 18, I actually had met my father again, and weirdly enough,
wait, no, I'm sorry. You met your biological father?
Yeah.
Okay, you said again, so there was a point in somewhere in there you had met him once only?
He went away for reasons when I was 1 year old.
Got it.
But I was able to meet him through my older sister, which I didn't meet till I was 15. Also his child.
Oh, this is a child from another relationship he had?
Yes. This gentleman had me and my older sister, 11 months older than me, by the time he was 16 years old.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
A lot of young fucking going on over there, man. God damn. With a lot of productive young fucking. Like, you're not supposed to have the babies.
Because of that, my mom's given me the sex talk every year since I was 4 years old.
Yeah, no shit. I'm trying to get my license. He's got 2 kids.
Yes.
God damn.
Yeah, he's got stories of custody attorneys or whatever, like, give you your kid. What are you talking about?
Seriously, yeah.
Drink milk. But no, I digress. It really came online at 18. I would say I was doing 1 semester in college, University of Louisville, and
Lamar Jackson, man, just gave Lamar Jackson that fucking statue down there.
Yeah, and I haven't been to Louisville in a couple of years now, but I'd like to see that.
You say it right.
Yeah, Louisville.
Yeah.
No other way.
No other
Louisville. Way. But just a big culmination of bad things happened while I was in college. And all of that, I think, just added to it. Like, I destroyed my hand working for UPS Worldport.
What do you mean destroyed it? You fucked it up? Smash it?
It was not my fault what happened, but I took responsibility to save another man's job. My supervisor asked me to hand adjust a conveyor belt. He told me it was off. There's just so much weight on it, shifted it. He was up there holding it himself. Go down there and grab it. So I did. As soon as I grabbed it, the new package came on, pushed everything forward, reactivated it, pulled my left hand right into the rollers.
Damn.
It goes back under.
Your hand went through the roller?
It went in the roller.
No, like, dude. Were you fucking... Hold on now. For someone who has uncontrollable rage, aren't you fucking losing your shit right now? I would be going nuts. Holy shit. How bad did that hurt, bro? How bad?
Well, it didn't. Like, I just remember my hand went in and, like, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Machine, this dumbass working next to me ran to get help instead of hitting the emergency off switch.
What a dumb motherfucker. So what's happening? Is it just crushing all your bones and shit?
I knew it was fucked once I started feeling that warmth, man. I started feeling the warmth. I was like, yo, my hand is Dorito dust right now. I walked away.
What did it look like when you finally got it out? Was it all flat like the Tom and Jerry cartoons?
No, it wasn't flat. It went in sideways, so it crunched.
Oh, no, it went in like that. Oh, God. That's way worse.
I managed to turn my elbow in such a way where it got my wrist and elbow, but, like, I laid my whole body on this thing to try to keep my hand on the sensor.
Shit, listen, bro, did you have an outburst after that? Listen, of all the ones I've heard so far, this is the one you should justified to have right here.
No, actually, I wasn't. I did. A misconception about the disorder is that it's just spontaneous, but it isn't. It has external trauma-based triggers to it. So it's... Yeah, that's where that.
Well, I would feel like my hand being crushed in a a fucking roller would be an external trigger for that.
Well, you think, but it kind of puts you in shock.
That's a good point. That's a good point. When you feel that warmth, you said, I'm.
They wanted me to stand
My
there
hand's dying. My hand's dying.
They wanted motherfucker to pull this, the whole thing.
Oh,
No,
God.
they said we're here for maintenance. I pulled my other hand, ripped the roller out, pulled my own hand out. But
Okay.
no, this thing was mangled. You might be able to see just slightly. I had
Yeah.
miraculous.
I can't believe you have a hand left.
Me either. Actually, I healed it by relearning guitar. So I have all the articulation I need. It's fantastic.
That's
But
crazy. All right. Sorry, we got a little out of there. So 18, and you're losing it.
yes, with this happening and among other reasons, I had to move back in with my mother, drop out of college. Couldn't afford it for one thing, but I landed here in Indianapolis with nobody, no family, no prospects, just left to my own devices. So I think the stress of me coming all the way back down and feeling like I'm on the bottom of my barrel was always over my head like a dark cloud.
You feel like a failure?
Oh yeah, I really did. And it took a long time to accept that it takes failure to grow. But anyways, no, I remember working a dead end warehouse job and coming home and being so stressed and hating my life so much. The first sign of responsibility would make me blow. Like I would walk in, my dog comes up and jumps and scratches me or something like that. I am throwing chairs.
Throwing chairs?
I'm throwing chairs. I am screaming till
You're out there Bobby Knighting it, man. That's that Indiana in you playing.
Need some clipboards to break or something. Yeah. No, it's a spectacle, man. It's all fucked up. But no, I remember throwing a coffee table and breaking my knuckle on my fridge and like all sorts of crazy shit.
At your mom's house? How we just said your mom's house naturally. Yeah. How about that?
YMH.
What's up, YMH? This is at your mom's place? You're throwing shit around like that when you come home, or is this at your place?
Yeah, but it is my place under my mom's name.
Got it.
Kind of weird subletting situation, but no, nobody else would be here. I'd just show up and then just erupt like it. But to really truly describe how bad it is like, for instance, the last time I exploded before getting brain treatments, I exploded so hard and so just randomly. I actually blew out the blood vessels behind my eyes. So I had black eyes for 2 weeks.
Holy shit! Underneath, not the red and the whites. You're talking about down here.
Here, yes.
Damn.
It's like I had somebody punch me in the face. But yeah, and the end result of it wasn't always full body shock, but within the past couple of years, 19 and on, I would go through this and humongous explosion of adrenaline and cortisol, and it would overload my brain, and I would collapse to the ground and lose all the feeling in every inch of my body. I'm talking tongue, I'm talking ears, nose, eyes. I can't move. My hands.
You're paralyzed? Completely paralyzed?
Yeah, I have to lay there.
And are you trying to get up, or you're frozen, or you're twitching?
My body shuts down. I stay awake for the entire thing.
How long?
For me leading up, all of it. For me leading up to exploding, for me begging somebody who's pressuring me to stop, to leave me alone, all the way up to get the fuck away from me right now, I'm going to explode, and then I lose myself. But the worst part of it, especially about this disorder, is that you have to watch yourself do these things you would never, ever, ever do otherwise. Ever. I would never visualize verbally assaulting somebody in the way that I had before. I would never visualize putting somebody in a corner or even wanting to threaten somebody. Just never been who I am. So why there's only 7.3% confirmed cases of IED is because of the shame and guilt cycle that follows that.
So
Because
people won't report it or go get it looked at or checked out.
I can't stress enough how hard it is to talk about this stuff, because it really makes you sound like you're just a walking monster. And to have caution of, to be wary of, and that's just not who I've ever wanted to be or was inside. And I feel that I can really, really show who I am now, especially. I know we're going to be getting into that, but
Well, that's what I want to talk about. So you say here the immense stress that your body would go through because of the disorder. You said it was meant to be lethal by the age of 30. You've had several professionals tell you would never be cured, as well as die early, and you felt hopeless. Tell me about that.
so about 19, I was like, okay, this is 100% not normal. I feel like an animal. I feel like I can't control myself. All of that's out the window. So I went and looked for help. I went to different therapists. I went to 3 different therapists, and all 3 of them diagnosed me with this, and
They
also
did.
told me it was, yes, all 3 of them did. And they also told me it was indeed a lifelong thing, incurable. And most of them, especially after a description of what my body would go through, and as well as an RN's opinion on this, they all estimated I would probably have severe heart issues or pass away from a heart attack at an early age.
Just because
The
the
latest,
immense stress and anxiety put on your body and your system.
yeah, to be forced into that sort of explosion of chemicals and then go into full body shock like once a week is just so bad for your body. And your heart only has so many beats in it. We have
That's
an
true.
average heartbeat. So, yeah, mine was supposed to run out pretty early because of this. The last estimation I got was 30.
8 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to die, and I don't want to harm anybody around me either. And I remember telling my first therapist, she said, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Because I don't want to lose myself and the people I love around me." And that is what I've stuck to the whole time. And that still remains my reason.
So tell me about why do they know that? I'm sorry, you had 3 people tell you this. So then what's you went and found an alternative solution to this? And is it just because you were like, fuck that answer? And did they try to put you on any kind of medication?
I did decide to experiment with medication very briefly, although I really didn't want to begin with, but felt at the end of my road. So I was like, fuck it, let's try. Did not work at all. In fact, just gave me secondary symptoms. Didn't even replace the problem. But no, I did not accept what they were telling me, as even though the more and more and more you're labeled, the more and more you're told this, the harder it is to keep getting up and fighting. But I did not just want to succumb to that fate.
So how did you find this facility that you went to? And that was so different. That was so different. Like, what made you say, look, I'm not going to keep going? Because a lot of people, in not just your situation, whatever theirs is, they'll just keep going to these doctors, and they'll all tell them the same thing. Let me go get a 5th one. And there's no – so what makes you go a different route?
Well, because I was clung on to the fact that it was incurable. So I knew that pharmaceutics would not do anything for me. I've already been a guinea pig before for other medical reasons, so I don't want to do it again. I know it doesn't help people, just replaces problems. So I had known about this clinic in Chicago called the Amen Clinic, made famous by Dr. Amen. And they do a similar thing. I don't know if it's the exact same thing as gray matters, but they are much more expensive, and they outsource a lot of their work, to my understanding. So I just didn't even know about gray matters for a while. But I had this falling out with somebody very near and dear to me, and it really broke me down really bad. I just remember running home, to my mother's house and just collapsing into them. And she was like, I heard about this place in Carmel, Indiana. It's just like the Amen Clinic, but it is actually a lot cheaper, and they don't outsource any of their things. So you could go there. So she decided to pay for my treatments there, and I went and got my consultation. Yeah, I have notes specifically about that Courtney, who founded Gray Matters, wanted me to say. She founded this facility after her son Gray was born with apraxia. So he was never meant to walk, talk, read, or write.
What is that
in his life? Apraxia, I am not super knowledgeable on, so don't quote me, but I know that is a neurological disorder or disease that makes it really, really hard for speech articulation, and for movement.
Okay.
So like muscle stuff like that. This young kid, I just met him. I just met him a couple weeks ago. He's 9, and he is walking and talking and reading and writing, and he's a good student. And he is not medicated at all. Okay. Neurofeedbacking saved his life.
So tell us what is this?
What it is, I guess to best explain it, I'll just break down what they do. They take a brain mapping of you by using a cap that has a bunch of little sensors and sponges on it, and they use saline as a conductor, and it reads the natural electricity in your brain. So that way they can see the full mapping of your brain and all its Brodmann areas. They measure all of those, all of the wavelengths and frequencies at which they are vibrating, and they use that to measure your problem areas. They just see where things are just going awry. It can actually show you a picture of where your worst areas are and a breakdown of the symptoms that those areas cause.
Okay.
And I got to say, it was 100% accurate for me.
And so you get an actual map of your brain, and you can look at that and see where your issues are. Yes, okay.
Sir. And then they take that information and they send it out to a German neurologist named Dr. Chrono. She takes that and she formulates a protocol and sends it back. They take this information and they use sound. So you sit down with the cap on your head so they can watch everything. They put headphones on you and they play sounds at a frequency that only your brain can produce. So
do you actually hear it? Do you hear it?
Yes.
You do. Okay.
Do hear it.
So explain that to me. So our brains make a sound or create a frequency that we can't recreate with musical instruments or machines or computers right now. Is that accurate?
I suppose we could recreate it, but it has to be so finely tuned to you. Like it is per individual.
I see. So this is almost a sound DNA for you.
Yes. Okay. And it is per individual, 100%. So if I sat on somebody else's protocol, it would not affect me at all.
And what can you describe what you're hearing? Like what sort of sounds you're hearing?
Depends on what they're trying to work on. I was put on 3 or 4 different protocols, as it were. But most notably, my last one sounded like wind chimes or somebody playing randomly on a xylophone.
Okay.
And the reason that these sounds are even occurring is they are responses to your wavelengths jumping out of place. So it makes that ding and it resets your wavelength back down where it's supposed to be.
Does it?
And it records you with the noise. So it's building new habits and
so it's let's fix it and reward it. Fix it and reward it. That's what I'm doing with the puppy right now, trying to train this damn puppy to, So you said here they actually end up building new neurological pathways in your brain. Is that right? There's no meds and no strict regimen. What do you mean by strict regimen? Do you go home at night and put this on to help, or it's just as needed, or is it they can fix you?
Well, the average amount of treatments they dole out to people is 40. And I actually just finished my 40th yesterday.
Congrats.
But Thank you. But no, you don't take it home with you. You just go in there and you sit down for half an hour and you listen to these noises, and then you get up and you go.
And you go once a week?
I went 3 times a week.
Wow, okay. So you're getting faster, yeah. Okay, so 3 times a week. Now, when you're done with the session, do they ask you questions, or is it just see you next time, or how do you feel, any of that? Like,
they hand you a 24-hour report that has the questions on it every time, like how did you sleep, rating 1 through 10, you have anxiety, blah blah blah, all these things, just keeping a record. But yeah, there's no medication at all. They just ask that you do not come in inebriated, because, well, adding anything is going to change your brain's chemistry for a period of time, so it will actually kind of make it ineffective.
Okay, that makes sense.
You do want to do it on a sober brain. No psychedelics either. No psychedelics.
And you say here that they cure and treat a vast array of disorders and trauma, not just what you have. Is that right?
Yes. In fact, hell, the people that work there, the lady Courtney who founded it, she had very, very severe PTSD, completely cured of it. Completely cured.
I want to go.
You should. You really should.
I'd have to move to Indiana to do 40 motherfucking treatments. I'm like, can we do it in 1 week? Can we do these 40 in 1 week?
Helium for a little bit. We got we got helium. We got crack.
I'll be there for 2 days. Give me 1 an hour.
Oh man.
Talk to me about how you feel now, and compare it to. Has there been a moment where you've been like, man, the old me would have lost my shit right fucking here? Have you experienced any of that?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I feel light as a feather. I feel like my whole life I've had just so many like thick clouds in my head. That's robbed me of motivation. That's robbed me of self-worth, of all these things. I am a 180 human being, and no part of who I am was lost at all. I don't feel rage. I don't lead my life with rage. I don't have to work around anxiety. I don't even get anxiety very much anymore.
And how long? And it was 40 treatments, and you started in when? September?
Yep, I started in September.
2 months in, and you definitely feel different.
I started feeling different by treatment 5.
How many people from your past have seen you since, and do they notice a difference? Does your mom notice a difference?
Yes. In fact, not only in me, but my little brother as well, who was he actually had a learning disability and was in assisted education, but come to find out upon doing brain mapping of him, when he was awake, the back of his brain, the whole back of his brain was just shut off. So he's actually, Andy was dyslexic. So he's actually estimated to be out of assisted educational courses within like a month by now, as well as, it's curing him of dyslexia. It's incredible.
What other sorts of traumas do they work with?
Oh, just a myriad of things, sir.
Is this drug and alcohol addiction as well?
I imagine so. I know that she's boasting a 90% to upper 90% success rate.
Wow.
Yes. So there are some things that she is open about that cannot be cured, like autism. She can't adjust somebody's DNA. That's just how it is. But actually, she can help a lot with autism and the symptoms that occur with it. So to any people listening who have children with autism or themselves, she can help that too. Won't get rid of it. She can help it.
What was I just going to ask you? Shit. I had a good question for you, I feel like. Well, give me some examples of where recently you would have lost your shit and you didn't, and how you felt during that.
Well, I have within the duration of me doing these treatments, I have on the back burner climbed mountain after mountain after mountain in my personal life, dealing with financial struggle, dealing with betrayal, dealing with switching out jobs, getting screwed over. It's hard to pinpoint something without doling out personal details of people. But it used to be betrayal would set me off like crazy, like animalistically. Close friend of mine, which I wouldn't call a friend anymore, showed his ass to me a couple times when I really, really needed him. And used to be, I would have lurched at him. I probably wouldn't have been me anymore. That's just the truth. But now I'm able to handle confrontation and actually keep a level head, be calm about it, and learn the difference between anger and rage. It's weird because I'm experimenting me without this monkey on my back or devil on my shoulder per se. So I'm actually still adjusting to who I am as well. Like
it's a new you.
Fully new.
I remember what I was going to ask you. How many other patients has this center worked with that have what you have called again? I'm sorry.
IED, intermittent explosive disorder. It's kind of ironically named because there's also an explosive device called an IED.
Yeah.
But I don't know about how many, but the fiance.
I guess why I'm asking is she was confident she could cure you, and I'm just wondering if it's because she's cured others with this therapy, or had she done other people who had IED and had success with it, or are you her first IED, and yet here you are again proving her music theory or sound theory correct with another disorder?
She has not disclosed to me how many patients she has treated with IED, but to my great surprise, when I sat down and talked to her in tears the first time, she told me that her fiance, I believe they're engaged, actually had IED himself. And she broke down what would happen with him. Like they would just get in an argument, or she would just say something to him that involved some sort of responsibility or what have you. And he would just zone out and then slam his hand down, and then he's up and exploding. And it's like really, really spot on to what I experienced as well.
Okay.
And she told me he hasn't had any issue in 5 years. So,
and he doesn't have to continue the therapy. It's a fix.
It goes case to case.
Okay.
Some people require more than 40 treatments. It really depends on how fucked up you are. You know?
Good point. Let me ask you this though: has she, or do you know? You're a young man, so what if in 15 years, you feel this coming again? Is this something that she feels is fixed, or do you go back and get another round of therapy if this happens again? And if it does, can it also be corrected?
You just said it. They have maintenance treatment. So yeah, it just really depends. It really depends on the person, on their level of what they've been dealing with, severity, what have you. For me, I'm probably fine. Like I haven't had any explosions since I started. I've come in close, but I haven't had any real big explosions. I haven't had loss of feeling or anything like that. I've been fully in control of myself since I started, which is
no numbness in your hands, none of that stuff.
I will say, within my first few rounds of treatment, I went through a phase shift. At least that's what they called it. I remember I about exploded here in my living room, and I took one on what they told me to do, breathing exercises, count out loud randomly so you can't focus, on ramping up.
Oh, I see. You're counting out loud and just disrupting the thought.
Yeah, it's supposed to be impossible.
That's what I'm just imagining that. Yeah, counting out loud. I couldn't put any other thoughts in my head the whole time to get mad.
Especially in random order. But it worked, but I came really, really, really close to coming over the edge. And I remember looking in the mirror, and my visage was not me. It did not look like me. It looked demonic. It looked
Really
evil. And it felt like something was trying to consume me and just completely take control from me. And that's what they called a phase shift, because my brain is adjusting to being rid of that, trying to fight. Like I like to use this. Anytime you try to remove a parasite from a host, that host is going to latch on, try to fight, or that parasite's going to latch on, try and fight back. And that's essentially what it was. But I was able to subside, thankfully. But it was different. I broke down in tears instead, and still got a huge release of endorphins and whatnot. Felt some form of anxiety and a relief from that, versus collapsing to the ground and seizing and not having any any feeling in my whole body. And, I'm kind of trailing off here, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah, I just remember that was a real key point in the progress. Just running back in that facility the next day, like, this was so scary. The scariest thing I've ever been able to imagine. The feeling of something overriding your power in your own body. But it's still you. So it's like, tussle between being a horrible person and a good person while having to do the same, both at once, is exhausting.
So what are you most looking forward to now? I mean, you're only 22. What are you looking forward to with getting rid of this anger and rage?
Leading my life the way I always wanted to. I never wanted to be anxious, bogged down, angry all the time, shamed, shameful, guilty. I never wanted to lead my life that way. Miserable. Now, the world's my oyster. Man, I manifested this happening, or whatever you want to call that. I woke up the other morning. I said, I took a vow to those ladies at Grave Matters. They gave me my life back. I said, I will find a way. I will find a way to spread awareness. And I was like, Ryan Sickler's podcast, he highlights lowlights.
This is an interesting one.
The message.
Hell, I'm serious. I'd just like to go have them scan my brain, say, here's what some shit going on with you, and put some wind chimes up in me and fix me, goddammit.
I had a couple. I had one that sounded like a organ being played in reverse. And
yeah, what are what weird sounds did you hear? Was there anything, let me ask it this way. Was there any sound that you had never heard before, or something that you can't actually give me a similarity to? You know what, you just said, it sounded like an organ being played backwards. Is there anything you heard that you couldn't describe?
No, I wouldn't say there was a sound that played that I couldn't equate to something else I've heard before. But
are they different volumes? Are you hearing different? You get 30 minutes. Is it always the same sound? And walk me through it. Like, you walk in, where are you sitting? Are you sitting in a comfortable chair? Are you in a dark room? Like, walk me through all of it.
So they sit you down in a comfortable chair. And they sit you up and put these sensors on your head, do the saline. You gotta wipe your face off because it's all over your face. But then they just put headphones on you and they press play. And for 30-minute timer, or however long they've set you for, it will play a varying sound. It's the same kind of sound, same musical instrument derivative, but it'll play different notes. So
give me the woodwinds. Give me the woodwinds today, Karen.
Yeah, I had a couple, but I would like to say real fast, only 20% of my problem was the disorder, by the way. 20%.
What's
And
the other 80?
that was in the frontal lobe. The other 80 was the post-concussion. Post-concussion.
From busting your head?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask you this. I was going to ask earlier when you said it, because I know you were very young, and they say our skulls are more malleable back then and all that shit, but I wondered how much, or if CTE or anything played in that, because I'm telling you, I got jumped, and I got yanked out of the back of this fucking Land Cruiser, fell on my head, cracked my skull, and I don't have that kind of rage issue. I'll be honest. I don't have the kind of money to keep replacing furniture. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing coffee tables and shit. I don't got that kind of budget. But the IKEA be like, "You back again?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. I got upset last night, man. Let me get a new couch." But I'm curious. I would just like to be studied to see. You know what I mean? To know what's going on in that fucking coconut.
Yeah.
So 80% were the fucking wall that you hit and the corner of the countertop.
Yes. Shockingly enough, actually, I learned a whole lot about post-concussion. Maybe this will open a lot of other people's eyes.
I wanted to open mine. I know. I went to the hospital. I had a massive concussion. I was dizzy for 3 months after that.
I remember you saying on your podcast that you've had newfound anxieties awaken in you. And
two things,
Yeah, the thing about the post-concussion is that it can actually pretty closely mimic PTSD and also give all sorts of other underlying symptoms that end up misdiagnosed. For
Kirsten,
instance,
book me a ticket to Indy.
You stay up in here. It is a good spot.
I need to go see what the fuck's going on in my head, man.
There would be no furniture harmed while you're But no, the technician that works there, she was saved as well. She was completely saved her life. She was misdiagnosed with MS and was losing motor function. She was on full disability and could not work, could not take care of herself or anything. She was just gonna go. And neurofeedbacking completely fixed her. She works around the clock in there, and the whole reason she does it is because she gets to know that people are being saved, or at least dramatically helped.
I'm so interested in this. Especially, look, this is very, I don't want to say Eastern medicine, but it's definitely not the Western world of pumping people full of pills until they just fucking, and then develop addictions or whatever other side effects it does to your fucking body. And yeah, this thing's fixed, but now you got 9 other problems going on, you know, that kind of shit. I'm really interested in this. Plus, I mean, sound and music and instruments, it literally sounds fucking incredible.
It's not the sounds are not, they don't come together to make a song.
I don't mean it like that. I mean the therapy sounds incredible. Like the results sound incredible. Tell me, we diverted. Go ahead, sorry.
The only thing that you'll experience during those is a headache, and that's because it's the same thing as working out a muscle over and over and over again. But as soon as you take those headphones off and you're done, that headache starts to let go and subside immediately. And then you just walk out there feeling fresh to death, like $1 million or sleepy. Just kind of depends on what they're putting you on.
So we didn't finish going through. So you got the thing on, you got the headphones on. Are you in a dark room, a light room? Are you your eyes covered? Do you ever fall asleep?
They don't want you to fall asleep. It's a dimly lit room, almost like a romantic vibe, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they just have nice soothing sounds playing. And even if you're the type of person that needs it, you're more comfortable, they got time, they'll sit down and talk to you the whole time too. Talk you through things. Those ladies in there have been amazing. They not only have they given my life back, but they've been guiding me as well. I just surrendered myself to them.
And you keep saying these ladies, it's all ladies, huh?
All ladies.
Better people, I swear to God.
They just care.
They just care. Guys are like, walk it off, pussy. They're like, let's put some sounds in your head.
But it makes me so mad to think about like big pharma now, because especially that I know that this exists. I know that people are being helped by it, but it is not recognized by the AMA or whatever it's called, American Medical Association.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't use, like, it's just not putting money
back. It's not
back
medicine.
Yes.
It's a fix, and it's a therapy.
Something that works.
That's right. It's a solution. Medicine's just something you stay on to treat. This is a solution. So let's go back to the concussions. 80% of your issue, the rage and everything too, or that comes from the you keep saying here, the intermittent explosive disorder, the rage.
That 20%, the rage, did lie in here. It was just all of this. 80% were supporting factors.
I see.
So this post concussion is where I got all of my insane anxiety, the poor social skills when I was younger, all of these things. I'm actually kind of struggling to remember all of the things because now I don't live with them. But
and you say you're the same person. Nothing about you's changed. Has your taste in food changed? Do you have new hobbies? You thinking different things that you never thought before?
I am 100% more positive than I was. I'm more charismatic. I'm more extroverted than I was. With that, I used to have to really try to have any sort of extroversion. But now, I mean, I'm a salesman. I talk to people for a living, and I don't have an issue with it. I don't, especially with mean people. Like, things that used to really push my buttons, they don't. And if they do, I'm able to handle it now. I don't lose myself immediately.
What are you doing? What are you doing to in those moments? What do you do? Do you count out loud in somebody's face with different numbers? 1746. I'm like, this motherfucker's about to lose him.
You sit right there and you calm down. 52. Well, kick your ass into control, man.
I'll tell you what, I get 10 of these randoms out and I'm still pissed you're in trouble, motherfucker. Oh, shit.
No, I don't have that welling up. Like, it used to feel like a small fire would start in my stomach, like in my gut.
That warmth you felt when that hand got crushed.
Yes, except more filling, more boiling. But yeah, it was almost like it would fill me up all the way until it came out. But now I don't have that. I don't. It didn't get rid of anger, because that's a normal emotion.
Sure.
But I have it normally.
But you can handle it.
Yeah. So now if somebody makes me angry, I'm like, hey, I didn't like how you did that. Let's talk about how I didn't like how you did that and what we could do. Something an adult would do, something a normal person who has emotional regulation could do. Whereas it would be, you said something, drop of a hat, I am this close to your face, like screaming as hard, as violently as a person can muster.
Have you ever, can I ask you this? Have you ever been beat up? You ever been beat up?
No.
You ever yell at somebody like that and they just fucking punch you?
No, I have to say I have been, well, it's fight or flight when that's going on. So my instincts were way up here. So anytime I have been swung on, I either sidestepped it or caught it, and yeah. But I've never actually been punished for that, and that's because I always had enough reserve to not start swinging on people. I don't know how. I think it was just deeply ingrained in me from a young age because my father was a fighter. But I never swung on anybody. in that state of mind. It was all very horrible, verbal threatening, verbal abuse, stuff like that.
Let me ask you this question. Now that you've had these 40 treatments and you feel better, I know you're reporting back to them like how you slept, how you whatever. Can they now do a map of your brain again and show you a before and an after and a comparison to show you how you actually are better?
Yes, they do that. I don't have the paperwork on me right now because I'm actually still getting scheduled to get my last brain mapping to show that. But if I had it on hand, it's really cool. It's a couple sheets of paper, shows you all the still images, where what's affected, what's not, shows you all your readings for your different wavelengths and what have you. So I got one in the middle of my sessions, so about around 20. And I was real pissed off that day. Not explosively, but even with skewed results of me being angry, the results were there. Like the progression was there. So it is proven on paper.
Well, Damon Sanders, man, this has been really fucking interesting and informative, and I'm all for alternative medicine when it comes to saving people and not just doping them up full of pills and shit. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for enlightening us with this. I definitely want to know more about this and go see what happened to my ass when I woke up in the hospital. Yeah,
it might help you out. They do not accept insurance, but they do family plans to help with cost. It actually is not that.
I got to get the whole family to come.
You don't have to.
They got a referral program. Do they have a referral program? Do they make house calls? I don't want to fly to Indianapolis.
No, but they do free consultations.
Well, Damon, thank you so much, for real. I appreciate you coming on and talking about that. I'm sure a lot of this today wasn't easy to talk about, and I do appreciate your honesty.
Sorry. I feel like I kind of fumbled some things, but it is hard to put some of this in words.
You didn't fumble anything. I mean, it was very clear and very interesting. So, thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and best of luck and health to you, brother. And thank you all out there as well for your support. If you're in for the long haul, go for the year, sign up, save yourself over a month. If you or anyone you know has a story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Come out and see me on tour. We'll talk to y'all.